Hey everybody. So I'm back for another review of Real Housewives of Potomac, Mic Drop Season 7, Episode 12. Happy New Year to everybody. Please be sure to like and subscribe as I try to grow my channel. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. Thank you. All right, so we get into the show. So now this week is Karen's turn to do her improv show. Okay? And her and Ray are going to Improv, which is a club and restaurant in DC. And she said, the one thing I learned from Giselle and Robin is crawl before you walk. Like, as in, you don't want no empty ass room. Okay. And then let people in for free and then don't do nothing. All right. So she was like, I'm really happy that I'm allowed to have an event here because I'm the first person to do it, not to be a comedian. Um, why do I wonder about that? Whether that's true or not. Anyway, so they go into DC into the improv showroom and she goes like, this feels really natural. And honestly, it looked really natural. It seemed like a much better environment to kind of like just have food and talk. And really, I was trying to figure out not so much what the show was about, but why was Matt there? He is so not helpful. No, I don't think he's Karen's friend. Yes, I remember that season where all of them were like, I've heard him talk shit about Karen. Like, not only that, I just don't understand him or his presence. So he's basically telling Karen what her program is going to be for her show. That there'll be drag queens and then there's going to be Karen. What? So then she said she was going to have a panel on love. It either didn't happen or we didn't see it. Matt, you're not her friend. I don't care about you. I don't want to see you on my TV screen again. Also, I mean, the one thing I will say, we'll get to it when we get to it, when we talk about the improv event, the one thing I can say is that if nothing else, Karen promoted her brand of Karen Huger, right? Because to fill a room, you have people that bought tickets to see her because of her presence on Real Housewives of Potomac. She also inadvertently or maybe purposely, I'm sure on Improv's part, is leveraging her celebrity to bring people in to make money. So I mean, regardless of what people thought, they bought tickets, and a lot of it is kind of oh, I saw Real Housewives of Potomac star. So Mia and Gordon, so they're reading a Dr. Seuss book with their small kids. I think it was good that Gordon led that reading session. I'm gonna leave it there. So Mia and Jacqueline are talking about their friendship or whatever, and how people are asking questions. And they show Mia in a confessional, and she's like, well, Jackie is like our sister wife without benefits. Mia, it is obvious what's going on. You engage in bisexual activity. That's fine. That's your business. But what you're not going to keep doing is talking about it on camera, talking about it with people, and then getting mad that it's been brought back to the group as if it wasn't a topic of conversation or as if it's something that people aren't going to find out. Cut it out. All right, so they have a weird conversation, and this is why people have questions. Me and Jacqueline have a weird conversation. Oh yeah, like how they were sitting on their sectional couch or whatever, and it was like Mia, and then it was like Jacqueline, and it was like Gordon, and Gordon was asking. He said, "Well, Mia, are you okay?" The Jacqueline sitting between us, and Mia was like, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" Jacqueline was like, "What's the big deal?" I got the impression that Gordon is much more aware and self-aware of what people are saying about him and Mia's marriage and their connection with other people in terms of having sex with multiple partners. And he's aware of it, and he's aware that the cameras are there. If nothing else, he is much better with his family's PR in front of the camera. So I think the reason why he kept deferring to Mia, like, well, if it's okay with you, if it's okay with you. So people aren't under the impression that he's just disrespecting his wife or they're engaging in these things without her consent. I feel like that's what he was trying to make sure was clear on screen. But Mia's dumbass did not catch on, and Jacqueline really didn't either. So then they're talking in front of Gordon. Gosh, how can you have a marriage like this? This is so disrespectful. Like I just could not have. I've already said I don't believe in open marriages because to me there's no point in getting married. That's just two people who need to make sure they say in society, I have a husband and wife, or wife. Or a husband and husband, wife and wife, whatever. I have to have somebody. That's why I'm getting married. I have to make sure I have somebody legally, but I still want to do whatever I want to do. And that to me is an insecure person's move because you still do care a lot about what society thinks. That's why it's necessary for you to have a marriage legally and when you go out. That shit is sick. It's nasty. And I believe in the sanctity of marriage. Okay? I personally don't care about getting married as an individual, but I do believe that it is a very sacred act. Period. All right. So they talking about taking showers with each other. And this is what I was talking about being disrespectful and that it's not a big deal. It is a big deal for grown women. Okay? Mia, I've tried with you. I really tried with you because I think you are not bright. Mia, I tried with you. And Gordon was like, well, you need to shower with me more. Mia, you are building a case against yourself because you are so fucking dumb. She was like, well, you don't like the same water temperature. He was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's a lie. We know Mia lies so much. Oh my gosh. So anyway, it seemed like he was actually a little shocked that they were still showering together. And I am actually willing to bet that Mia doesn't even let her kids bathe and shower with each other together at this point. Certainly not the young girl and the young boy. I guarantee you. So Jacqueline like, oh, it's economical. Bitch, y'all was visiting somewhere and that ain't your water bill. What the fuck? Like, just cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. And that's nasty too. You always, when somebody gets out the shower and when you get in to clean it and that kind of thing. Every grown woman has their own stuff. Every man has his own stuff. It needs to be cleaned. Anyway, what in the hell? Anyway, so Gordon, they bring up Jacqueline's Porsche. All right. So Gordon said, well, she basically said, well, you helped me because I was spending a lot of money on, I guess, lawyers and stuff to get out of a really bad marriage. And she's like, Gordon, it's because you love me. And Gordon points to Mia and says, no, Mia loves you. She was like, you don't love me? He was like, I do, but I love you because of Mia. And I feel like Gordon is playing cleanup for these fucking dummies. And these dumbasses keep spilling water, bleach, Pine Sol all over the goddamn floor. And he cannot do good PR when y'all ain't catching it. What the fuck? All right. Anyway, so we get Ashley and her friends known as the PYTs. It's corny, but I'm gonna let it ride. And we get Deborah, whose face is very difficult to look at. I think she had another friend named Jules, and then Giselle pops up because Giselle's just a messy bitch showing up at scene after scene. So I'm sorry, but because Deborah's a messy bitch, I'm not gonna spare her. She looks weird as fuck. I think she is ugly inside and out, and I think she likes attention, like all these bitches on the show. But it's giving, I want to be on this show so bad, I'm willing to lie and destroy somebody's marriage. If you're married to someone, you should at least respect, I think, marriage enough not to do what you're doing. And that's lying on Chris. Anyway, Giselle comes in like, I'm an honorary member of the PYTs, and they start coming up with different names because Giselle is not a pretty young thing. Let me tell you something that hit me about Giselle. Giselle, even in her tagline at the beginning of the show, was about, I'm pretty and I'm this. Now, I'm a pretty thing. I'm a pretty hot mom, whatever. Giselle gives me, and this is going on in my mind now for 7 seasons, that her whole identity has been built on the fact that she is pretty or is considered pretty by societal standards. All right? And because of that, she was raised and grew up and continued to be that person as an adult and leverage what she thought her beauty was. And instead, I'm pretty. I'm pretty. I'm pretty. And what she found out, I'm sure, is that 1, bitch, you're not the only pretty woman in the world. 2, after a certain age, people don't want to be your friend. And they certainly don't want to be in a romantic relationship with somebody who's only pretty. Like Like, it's a very empty sort of thing. And I feel like that's why she's so bitter, because it's the only thing she has. The bitch won't get a hobby. She won't do something, I don't know, to make humanity better. At least when we see Karen interact with her kids, you know, like her daughter, Raven, you can tell she's really polite, was raised well. Her and Ray did a good job. Even when we see her with her son, like, it gives a different vibe. Like, Giselle, I think, is a very empty person. She's a very fucking shallow person. And she's been the messy bitch that got to be in a sorority and dictate other people into the club and all that other kind of shit. And it's past the point where it means absolutely nothing. You're so pretty, but you cannot get or keep a man. And I don't mean that as a read to women who don't have a man. That's not what I mean. It's a read for Giselle, because Giselle always has something to say about somebody else's man. That's why it's a read for her. And she's very empty, and I think she's very bitter about it. So, yes, she goes after different women in the group who have things that, one, she feels entitled to, like money. Okay? Like looks. Okay? And people who have families and husbands, i.e., Monique had all three of those things. And Giselle's jealousy, I mean, it bled through your TV screen. Okay? Anyway, so was it me, or was the brown skinned girl that was sitting beside Giselle, the one across from the one with the blonde ponytail of Ashley's friends? It seemed like to me she was very hesitant to say anything. It's not like she was shy, like to say anything around Giselle. Like, she was being smart about it. Even the people that are her so-called friends at this group, every time they said something, she was just like, I can tell you got you a good job and you got something to lose. Girl, you are smart. High five. Okay, so Deborah starts the conversation as they taking shots by saying that Chris essentially hit on her, and literally none of the fucking film playback is giving an impression that Chris did anything like that. Once again, Chris is looking down at his phone. Basically, I'm escorting my wife to an event I don't care to be at. This bitch initiated the conversation saying, I'm Deborah. Like, and somehow he got closer to me. There was literally nothing on this tape that proves anything like that. Bitch, stop. And these lies on Chris are getting really fucking old. And they're fucked up because, like I said, that can mess with somebody's job and somebody's career. Okay? Then she brings up Eddie. And I was like, huh? I just knew she wasn't talking about Wendy's husband. I just thought she was talking about somebody else. I said, Eddie? What the fuck did he do? So every time Ashley said something about, she said something about Chris, and then it said Eddie, and every time they said something, they were literally showing this footage of like things that didn't make sense. Eddie was only around like really men. And like Wendy, right? Like, he was one of those people who, like Ray, just hangs in the corner. So Ashley is like, well, my friends aren't liars. And there were plenty of people that saw this as well. Bitch, you're a liar. So yes, I do think your friends are liars. Birds of a feather flock together, you dumb fuck. And no, many people didn't see that. Y'all some goddamn liars. And your quiet friend was quiet because I guarantee she peeped Giselle's energy and bullshit and said, I ain't getting pulled into none of this. So, Ashley, you've been lying like a motherfucker since season 2 because they played your ass on season 1, and then all of a sudden you, I guess, figured out the game, and you have been obnoxious ever since. I didn't really like you on season 1, but I didn't really hate you either. You were just, there's nothing about you that's likable. And all the shit and evidence, hard evidence, no pun intended, evidence on your husband or soon-to-be ex-husband, roommate, whoever the fuck he is to you, you got your motherfucking nerve to be drawing attention to Chris Bassett over some shit he did not do. You got your nerve. When that conversation came up with Giselle, you should have avoided it, walked away, changed the subject, got in your car, kept driving. Let me tell you something. That's the kind of thing that once it hits you, you just stay away from it. And Deborah, you don't have a face I want to see on Real Housewives of Potomac. Granted, I don't really want to see none of these bitches at the time, but you are very hard to look at. But Candace is going to get you, so okay. And you're a lying sack of shit. And Quite frankly, Giselle and Robin had that lion sack of shit, messy bullshit on lock. We don't need no more of you. We don't. We don't. We don't. We don't. So we get to see Wendy and her kids. I guess she's still recovering from her kidney stones or whatever. So she's complaining about not being able to do things like she's used to. She's used to ripping and running. And I was like, girl, you know how to manage from home. Did COVID not teach you anything? Were people in New York the only people following the rules? For a while they were until the numbers started going up. Anyway, so her kids are basically telling on Eddie when he says, no, I got you a donut, but it's, something happened to her, something like that. And that little boy was looking and all of a sudden told on his father. I was like, whew, kids will tell stuff they ain't got no business. And they be loyal to their mothers. All right, so Wendy tells Eddie that Ashley told her that Deborah said. First of all, when Wendy began that sentence that way, that already tells you that it's a motherfucking lie. Something has gotten lost in translation. Okay? Because when I was listening, I was like, so Wendy tells Eddie that Ashley told her that Deborah, her friend, said, what? That Eddie was being flirtatious. And she said the consensus was that it happened and they called him Happy Eddie. And he should have flashback. And Wendy was like, not Happy Eddie. And they were like, because he was smiling a lot. And you could tell by Wendy and Eddie's reaction when they both started laughing and talking. And she was like, you smile at everybody. You smile at the dog. And so he started smiling at his daughter. He was like, I'm flirting with you. And I just felt like just their reaction was like, I know this is bullshit. I'm not going to even get upset like Candace. I'm not going to even get worked up about this. This isn't worth getting upset over. And he's an attorney, honestly. He probably got something under his sleeve. Like, yeah, I will mess y'all up if y'all lie on me like that. And he's an attorney. They're over it. And I thought that was probably one of the best ways to handle it. Anyway, so Giselle, Robin, and Mia meet up at this, one of those places where you order your food and go sit down, but then people don't even bring it to you. Yeah, Giselle's broke ass would pick a place like that. Anyway, so of course, Giselle starts gossiping because she has no other reason to exist. All right, so then Giselle told Mia that Karen said that Mia took a flashlight and looked up Jacqueline's vagina. How many times are we going to hear this dumbass fucking story? It's gross. Why are you asking her about it? And not only that, Giselle, you engaged. And then literally as Karen was gossiping and telling the story, you added something to it. And Karen was like, sis, well, we can't say anything to you because you just... So cut it out. Oh my gosh. And Karen told Giselle, Robin, and Ashley about the stuff that her and Mia had talked about. One, I was bothered by how Ashley was acting so shocked. Like she wasn't sleeping with other women with Michael. Okay? So slow your roll. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Okay? Because we remember, and that shit's on tape. All right. Also, I do remember Mia and Karen having a conversation, but Karen was asking Mia these questions because she said, Giselle told me this, but I didn't see any of it, so I wanted to ask you. So, Mia, I really think you also are another one that needs to slow your roll, trying to go after Karen. Because lest we forget, on episode 2, episode 3, when the hot mic was still on, and Wendy and like Ashley were talking, and she says, well, what do you think about Mia? And she was basically like, nobody's even willing to give her a chance but me and Karen. And after you done thrown that water in Wendy's face, bitch, you by yourself. So if I was you, stay woke. Okay. So in the Improv live show, Karen basically says, hey, Beyonce, no disrespect, bow down to the queen, but I have my own hive. They're called the Ladams. And Giselle and Robin, she says that in the confessional, and then they show her telling Giselle and Robin, they both start laughing. And Karen goes, I'm sorry, you have a group called the Robins? Yes, Karen, get her. So Giselle shows up, and she comes in this actually really cute green dress. Girl, who'd you borrow that from? Who? Whose thrift shop donation mistake was that? Okay, anyway, so Giselle says, don't say I don't support Karen because I came here and I don't even know what it's about. Well, bitch, you ain't got nothing else to do. And you need to film because that child support is about to dry up. And we know that working, like a real job, is not your thing. Okay? So, Giselle said Ashley brought Deborah, the girl who accused Chris, to the event. And she was like, and I'm not even mad because Candace listens to nothing. Why should she listen to y'all bitches? She know y'all lying. She has listened to y'all. And then told y'all were liars. Fuck out of here. Candace, though, I was trying to take up for you, but never. Ever, ever, ever again in your life wear a pink wig again. You can't pull it off. It's not quirky. It's not cute. It doesn't work like it works for Nicki Minaj. It does not work like it works for like a Lizzo. It just doesn't work. And I don't know if you're like trying to pull off looks in a confessional to see what you can put in a video that ain't nobody watching no more unless it comes from Beyonce. Like, I just don't do it. That was, oh my gosh, what the hell? What kind of clown shit was that? Okay, so Candace is going to the improv event with her mother. Does Candace have any friends? Am I the only one that has that question? I know we only see certain aspects of their life, but I feel like Candace has never really shown us that she had any friends outside the cast. And no, her graduation party don't count because people you go to school with, just to be polite, you will invite them to a graduation party at your house, and if they want to come by and have some food, that's what you do. Like, miss me, because we ain't know none of them people's names. All right, so anyway, Karen wants to get started because she says the room is full and the tickets aren't copped. I was like, the way Giselle and Karen go back and forth, even in the confessionals, that shit is kind of funny because they just mean to each other. But Giselle's the worst. So Robin shows up after everybody else, of course, in that rainbow denim appearing dress with a gaudy rhinestone necklace. Like, Robin. I really feel like you bought new clothes. I really do for this season. The problem is, and this is coming from a girl who is not a fashionista, but I'm also not on the fucking television playing a part to pretend like I'm living it up and I have a life so much better than everybody else. That is what the Real Housewives are based on. Okay? But Robin, you never, ever seem to get it right. In terms of fashion, in terms of a look, even like, I'm not even saying you have to go around in fancy dresses. You know, somebody can just have a look and it works for them. She doesn't have that. And I'm just like, girl, damn. Then your messy ass shows up at the last minute, and then you lean in and to Candace and say, that's Ashley's friend that accused Chris at the end of the table. Candace looks... This one of those. And Robin, literally, they don't have any verbal conversation after that. And Robin looks at her and goes, I'm with you on that. And that was clearly like, this bitch is ugly as fuck. Now let's be clear. I'm not trying to say that because somebody might be unattractive to the regular eye, that doesn't mean that somebody can't flirt with them or that women can't be harassed or that kind of thing. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, we don't believe you. And you have only left us with energy to read the entire fuck out of you, Deborah. Anyway, so Candace says, well, I'm not going to acknowledge Sesame Street characters. She said they are make-believe and they belong at Sesame Street. I said, oh my gosh. And when you look at her, yeah, it does. Like a puppet. Look like Tisha's puppets from Love and Marriage Huntsville last night. So anyway, so the Real Housewives of Potomac chicks are basically just sitting at the table talking shit the whole time during the show. Robin and Giselle, ma'ams, y'all's thing was empty. At least people bought things for Karen. Like I said, if for nothing else, it promotes her brand of Karen, right? So Mia, my question for you is, why are you mad? Like, the stuff is true. Karen has asked you questions. Other people have asked you multiple questions. Charisse and her sorry ass and chimed in and stuff like that. Like, I don't understand why you're mad at Karen for the shit you keep putting out. So Mia stood up and asked a question at Karen's event and says, "What do you do when you tell a friend something and she runs her mouth and shares it with everybody else and drops the mic?" Now, Mia, that in and of itself, and I'm sure all them cameras let those people know, you continue to draw attention to your fuck shit. You and Jacqueline have fucked. It's clear. It's clear. You're only mad because you want people to pretend like things don't exist. If you want people to pretend like they don't exist, like, huh? You so dumb that you don't even know when to be mad at somebody. Like, I don't get it. And Karen responded basically saying, "I will work on it. I'm not perfect." She didn't deny it, so on and so forth. But honestly, it would have been easier to be like, you should talk to that person. Because considering that group, ain't nobody motherfucking loyal. And Mia, you don't know how to even keep your stuff secret enough to where you ain't washing up with Jacqueline in an open window. Anyway, so Karen in her confessional says, "Sit your ass down and continue your Build a Puss project." I said, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Long gone are the days where we could look to our elders for our Geez, so Giselle was hating in the confessional talking about, well, Karen's ego was big when I met her, this, that, and the other. Now it's like on 25 million. Giselle, every time you open your mouth, it is negative about somebody else. You are covering up for you and Jamal's dysfunctional bullshit relationship, but trying to act like, oh, we're such great co-parents. Like he hasn't cheated on you and mistreated you and played you like a goddamn fool even since y'all been parenting and had you on TV looking crazy. Like you're always covering your shit and then talking about other people. Karen's ego, at least Karen comes back to earth. When somebody's upset, like Wendy was when they were talking about her last season, about how, she's about her body and this, that, and the other, and she just broke down and cried, Karen was right there. When Candace was having a hard time with her mother with her wedding, Karen was right there. Like Karen knows how to bring it back in. Giselle is only there to accumulate information and hold it against people to keep people all out of her business. I learned that about nosy people a long time ago. The most judgmental and the nosiest people who are always asking questions are doing that to, one, deflect from how fucked up their life is and out of fear that you'll know something about their fucked up life. But I got your ass. Anyway, so Candace addresses Sesame Street. Sesame Street is a much better name. Candace, yeah. You won this episode despite having Giselle take up all the scenes. You still won. I'm mad. So Candace asked Sesame Street, well, what did he say? She keeps bringing up this story about his name being Chris, and he introduced himself, and Candace is looking like, okay, like why would he be rude? And Ashley tries to talk to Candace once the event is over about her friend, and she was like, "Don't dismiss my friend like that." And they showed Candace in the confessional, and she was like, "I'm not doing this with Ashley. Ashley brought her here because she is a messy ass hoe." I was like, oh, that description is so perfect. It's like chef's kiss. All right. Candace said, Ashley, yeah. So I was like, Sesame Street, just beat it. Just get off our screen. Don't come back. Now, when they show the preview for next week, can y'all please explain to me, somebody, and don't give me that shit about contracts, because I need people to really draw lines in their real life. Why are these chicks going on another fucking girls trip? They were in like Miami for like 2 days and everything went to hell. Like, Wendy, you should not be there. You should not. If you have as much to lose as you say you do, and you just had kidney stones, you got 3 kids at home, your husband's an attorney, you're a professor, bitch, you got plenty of shit to do. Okay, Candace, why are you going? I think I saw Candace in there. But if she was, why are you going after these bitches done ganged up on you and talk shit about your husband? Because if y'all was smart, you and Wendy could have stayed there and could have been fucking taping something while y'all was working. But Karen and Sharice are going to get into it. And yeah, and then Mia's whole point of the show. Well, I know why Karen doesn't want to talk to Sharice, but I haven't said anything. First of all, Mia, you don't. I guarantee you the rest of the chicks in that group, no. Okay? They probably been told by production, don't say it out loud, we're going to wait for a big bus scene. But like, we've been known that they've had tension. The issue is that they were kind of friends, when they came on the show. And then they weren't anymore because Sharice, like Giselle, became very bitter when she got divorced with anybody who had what she felt like she deserved. Anyway, that's all I got. Y'all have a great night. And once again, Happy New Year. Bye.